Okay, this story is called The Enchanted Leaves. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there grew a most unusual tree. It was special, not because it was particularly big, or small, or very old, or very beautiful. Why then? It was unusual because of its leaves. All year round, long, pointed, glossy leaves hung from its branches, and these leaves were charmed. They had a strange magic power. If a person had an enemy, he would creep into his house and hide one of these leaves under his bed. When his enemy went to bed, the leaf's magic made him sleep and sleep until the magic wore off. This meant some of the people were asleep for weeks on end and didn't do any work. Sometimes there was no one awake to plant the seeds or build the houses or teach the children. Sometimes a whole family had leaves under its bed and their home grew untidy and their animals strayed and their garden ran wild. Now, it happened that the old king of the country died and his son, the prince, became king. The new king hated to see his kingdom in such a muddle and a mess just because of a tree. So the first thing he did when he came to the throne was to call his old teacher to him in private. "What can I do about that horrid tree?" he asked his teacher. "The people are always picking the leaves and sending each other to sleep, so that my kingdom is in a great muddle." "Well, your majesty," replied the old man, "as long as the tree stands, the people will pluck its leaves. You must get rid of the tree." "I cannot cut it down," cried the king. "The trees do not belong to me, and the people will be terribly angry." "We must think of another plan then," said his old teacher. "Let us sit quietly and consider the problem." So the young king sat on his gilded throne with his head in his hands, and the old man sat on a wooden stool next to him, stroking his beard, and they both thought as hard as they could. After a few minutes the old man looked up. "Really, it is not the whole tree which is causing the trouble, but only its leaves. We must pick all the leaves from the tree. Then the people will see that the tree has no further use, and it will be cut down." "Aha! The perfect plan!" cried the king, and shook his old teacher's hand. "But we must take the leaves secretly and gradually, or the people will notice." "We shall also have to hide the leaves away," said the teacher. "Wherever can we hide a great heap of leaves?" "It will have to be a long way away from here," said the king, "so that nobody could find them before they grow old and withered and useless. Where is the furthest place that we know?" And he stared out of the window. He could see the enchanted tree in the distance, its leaves shining in the moonlight. The moon! That was the furthest place. The leaves must be sent to the moon. But how? Then he had an idea. He was the best archer in the land. He could shoot the leaves to the moon on his arrows. So, late at night, the king would steal down to the magic tree with his bow and arrow, pluck a few leaves and shoot them on his arrows to the moon. He picked the leaves night after night until at last the tree stood bare. When the people saw that the branches were empty, they said that the tree was useless except for firewood, so they cut it down and chopped it into little pieces. Now that no one could be put to sleep at the wrong time, the work got done. And now that quarrelling was not so easy, the people became friends. And the leaves stayed on the moon, and their magic shimmered through its beams, so that at night, when the moon was shone, everyone went to sleep.